All right, good evening, everyone. So today we are going to quickly jump into the second lesson of this course. So I will be talking about the type details, the design tree, and object visibility, which is the number two. Talk about our first design task, number three, the use of frame, color palettes, eyedropper tool, and some other things that we need to know. So let's quickly start with the type setting. You go to your Figma file. So we are still using page one. Like I said, you can create as much as many pages that you want. You can create new pages. And even before this page one, we get full. Like I said, that on this canvas, it has a large space that you can design. And before this first page, we get full because before the canvas we get full. I think that means you have many designs, different jobs, different work. So this is just the page one. You can create page two, page three, page four, and so on. Now typesetting, it's your T or you type T on your key. Or you just press T on your keyboard, which is for text box. So you can define a text box for that or the space you want for the text to contain. So go to your lorem ipsum, generate any text here. Like you all know what lorem ipsum is for now, just to come up with a dummy text because we can't actually figure out any text on our own now. So we just go to lorem ipsum to generate any text. Just simply type lorem ipsum generator, then it brings out this particular screen for you. So I've copied a particular part there. So I'll just paste it here. So this is it here. Let me enlarge my screen. So this is what I have. So I have this. Now the type setting, because we need to come with the tests, with some tests before so that I can be able to explain the type settings. So going to the type setting is somewhere here. Our last class, we talk about alignments, align left, align center, and align right, which is the horizontal alignment. Then the vertical alignment is the align top, align middle or center. Then we also have align bottom. So we start with today's lesson. We start with type settings or some when you over on some Figma what's it called? Some Figma interface. You can call it type details. You may see type details here. Why some is type settings? They are still both the same. So you just click on that. So when you click on that, so these are a few things that you can do on that. So I'm referring back to this test now with these properties that I have here. So you can align it to the left, just like what we already have here. Align it to the center, align it to the right, and also justify. So I believe you know what justify means. Then you can decorate it, which is decoration, underline, underline, can see underline. Then you can see the preview of what your text will look like over here. Before, in case you want it like that, you can just see the preview here. So you can underline, can add a stroke effects, a strike through effects on it, and so on. Then also you can do your case, you can do your uppercase, you can do your, if I click on this now, all the letters will turn to capital letter, as you can see in the preview. So I can do my uppercase, you can see it here, uppercase. I can make everything in small letter. I can make all the first letter of each word to be in capital letter, like what you can see in the preview, like I said earlier. You can check it in the preview. I can also do this over here. Say fonts does not font does not support small cap. That means the fonts that I choose, this one that I choose does not support uh, small cap like what we have here. But some font that you choose when you are trying to practice on your own, some may be supported with small caps. You also have vertical trim. You can just walk through all this. We have the bullet style. When you talk about listing out items, you can list out items in the bulleted form, bulleted list. You also have the number list. So we have the line, we have the list spacing, the paragraph spacing, and so on. So these are some of the things you can do with your type details. We have the identification, we have the hanging list, we have the letter case. You can scroll down to see some other properties for that text to be used on that text. So you can just go through all these details here. So that is all about the type settings that we have here. So the next one now will be on our design tree and object visibility. Design tree and object visibility. So what do we mean by design tree and what do we mean by object visibility? Sorry. So objects, let me start with design tree. Design tree is spelled, the tree over there is spelled T-R-E-E. That is double E. Design tree, as in like this. Design, sorry, design tree. So not number three, as in this tree like plants, design tree. So that is the spelling for that. Okay, I already have it here, design tree. Now, design tree, the left side of your Figma page is what we call the design tree, or you just call it the design layer. So, like I mentioned, I talked about that in our last lesson, that all this side are called um, they are called our design layer, or you say design, or you say layer panel. You can call it layer panel. And while all this side are called our property panel. This side where we do our where we do our design, we do a lot of design here. All these parts, these gray parts, it's called our canvas, or short, just a canvas. Then why this side is called our tools. So that means the tools that you make use of to do. So these are just the four major parts of the Figma page. So, like I said, this left side of your Figma page is called the design tree. So it is called design tree because every object that you create in the Figma canvas will be listed in the Figma tree. So every object, anything that I do here will always be here. They will always be on this on this Figma tree here, or the layer panel here. So I'll quickly start with some object now so that we can see how that works. And when doing that, I'll just quickly need to uh, create another page so that we can see the actual flow of it. Or we continue with this page. Let just continue with this page so that I'll not be creating multiple pages. So here, let's start with this shape. Now, when you look at this rectangle, this is why I'm showing rectangle 3 is because I've selected some rectangles before because I'm continuing on our first from our first lessons. So we have done some things on our first lessons. So that's why I'm showing this rectangle 3 here. If I should create a new page, let me just create a new page. Let me create a new page. Now this is a new page, page 2. Now you can see that there's nothing here because this is the fresh page. There's nothing there. So if I should go to rectangle now, either with shortcut keys, sorry, letter R, or I just click on it here and I just draw that out. You see it's saying rectangle 1 because this is a fresh page saying rectangle 1. And what I want to notice is that anytime you click on any shape here or object here. For example, like this ellipse. It should show, for example, it should show ellipse 2, but because I've not yet dragged it on the Canva, so that's why it's not showing. Until I drag it on the Canva, then it shows ellipse 1 over here, which is a circle, or you call it ellipse. So you should just take note of that. So now this is taking us to really understanding what we mean by that design tree. So any objects you create on the canvas will be listed here, like what you can see here. That is inside the what layers. So the current objects you are working on will be on the recent or the former one. The current objects that I'm working on. This is the current object I'm working on now, this circle. This was what I chose last. So it will be on the recent one. This is the recent one, this rectangle. If I should select another color, I mean another shape, let me select this polygon so that it will be visible instead of selecting line. Now you can see that the polygon is now staying on the ellipse, which was this last one I was working on earlier. So this is just the recent one now that I chose. Now staying on this one, then this one also staying on this. When you look at it over here, this is the polygon staying on the ellipse and the ellipse on this rectangle. So it's just like a structural pattern, helping us to structure the flow of our work. The other thing also you should know is that anyone I can select any object from here now. For example, when I click on this, you can see that it's been selected. Instead of coming here direct to select from here or selecting from here, I can select my ellipse now from here. If I click on this now, it will be selected. I can select my rectangle from here also. Click on it, it's selected. I can also delete. I can delete my rectangle now from here. Just right click on it. When you right click on it, scroll this down. When you scroll it down, okay, I think it should be up. The delete should be somewhere here. But if you didn't see it, just click on, just hit your delete key on the keyboard. Hit the delete key on the keyboard, then it goes, away. So you can also do some certain things over here. If you don't want to touch the Canva at all, if you don't want to touch the object on the Canva at all, you can do some things over here also. So I'll do Ctrl Z to bring it back. And also you can rename this rectangle. So let's assume this rectangle should be for a certain purpose. You can just come over here, click on it, or right click on it and say rename. The shortcut for that is Ctrl R. So I will plead with you that you should always be checking all the shortcut keys for all these things. So they have shortcut key that will make your work really fast. So click on it. And click on it, you can rename. Let's assume that this rectangle should be for a particular purpose. Like um, let's say the purpose for it um, is for let's say banner or thumbnail. Maybe you want to design a thumbnail and just click enter. So that means this rectangle here, this is the purpose, this is its purpose, this is what it's meant for. So that this will make us to remember what each of those shapes stand for, or what each of those designs is representing. So that is what I mean by you can rename it. Then like I said also you can select, you have done that, you can select from here. I'm selecting now, and so on. You can delete. I've talked about that. Just press the delete key on your keyboard. Then you can also, you can also arrange it like what you have here. Like I said earlier, you can arrange. Like for example, I can bring that polygon, I can bring it down, rectangle, I can take it up, and just rearrange the way it looks like. But by default, it should be bringing all those new design or new objects on each order. by default. Then later you can just rearrange if you want to rearrange the flow of the work. Then another thing that you should also take note is that note that any objects you have on the canvas also can be managed, just like what I explained now from the design tree. So all these objects I have here can be managed from my design tree. So it means you can select, you can lock. I've not explained that you can lock this object now. If I press this padlock, this one that looks like a is even a padlock, like a padlock. So you can just click on this. When you click on it, you can't do anything on this object. You can't even move it. You can't move it. You can't select it. You can't do anything. You can't even delete it too. You can't delete it. I'm pressing delete key on my keyboard now. It's not deleting. You can also maybe you want to add color, this and that. You can't do anything on, but you can do something on others. You can because we didn't padlock others. You can do something on others. We didn't lock others. Sorry to say, we didn't lock others. So, but with this one we have locked it, so you can't do anything on this until you open it again. Then you can be able to select. Can be able to select it. This one has entered. It has entered vector mode. So let me take it back. So you can be able to select it. You can be able to move it and so on. Then this one like an eye. This is one by the visibility, which we'll still talk about. So this like an eye, you can just to hide it. So let's assume you are working now and you have a lot of design, different different objects that you are working on, and your plan is that you still need to use a particular object. Now, when you delete, okay, let's assume I have this rectangle. Let me duplicate it. Another one, another one. So let's assume I'm designing, and maybe for one reason I want to just do away with this first. If I should delete this rectangle 39, if I delete it, now I won't be able to get it back again. Or even else, I will have forgotten that I have something still to do on this rectangle. But because I've deleted it, it has gone. I may not even remember that I need to do something on this part. But if I let me bring it back, Ctrl Z. But if I should hide it, not locking it now, if I should hide it, now I'm hiding it. So my hiding it now means that I can still remember because I can see on my Figma tree here that this side now look fainted. So that means so I can quickly remember that okay, I need to do something on this particular one. So I can even open it to really see what because I might have forgotten what it actually means. But because of seeing this now, I can just okay, let me view what I have here. I'll just say, oh, so this is still what I needed to do. And that may be very important. So I can just quickly go back to quickly work on that. But if I've deleted it, it has gone totally. I won't be able to remember that there is something here that I still need to work on. So that is what the eye icon is working for, which is visibility, part of what we still discuss, part of what we still discuss. So the same thing, if I should type now, let me type something now. Let me say, um, this is me, this is me typing. Now you can see that this is my last, let me call it, this is my last work on this. So that's why I'm having this. This is my recent work, that's why I'm having this on top. I'm having the text on top. Excuse me, because that is what I just did now. So that is just the arrangement of this site, which is called our Figma tree or the layer tree. So this will take us to object visibility. Now, what do you mean by object visibility? When designing at times, you may be confused with what you want, and this may lead to you creating two or more object versions, just like what I explained the other time. of what you are designing. So now sometimes when you have 4 or 5 versions, like that rectangle I showed us the other time, I have like 3 versions of it, 3 versions of it. So now sometimes when you have 4 or 5 versions of what you want to design, so instead of deleting the first version or the second version from your design file, if I should delete this now, it has gone away totally from my design file. So instead of doing that, deleting it from our design file, it is better to make use of the visibility property in Figma. That is, it is better to make an object invisible most time than to delete such objects. I think I've explained that. So let's say you are not okay with the circle in this diagram, or maybe any of this rectangle here, what you just need, but you still need it later. So what you just do now, like this circle now, I may not be okay with where it is now, but I will still need it later. I will just like hide it over there, do whatsoever I want to do. Then when I'm done, I can just bring it back and bring it back. So you will need to hover on the circle in the design tree, then a log and an eye icon will be shown. So you click on the eye icon, and this will make you to quickly remember that okay, you need to do something over there. So I think I've explained that because of our time. So that is object visibility. And this visibility icon there, we have it scattered around all our Figma page. For example, or Figma file, I can see it here now. For example, I can see I can see this icon here. I can also see it here. I can use it for opacity. It's scattered. If I click on this plus, click on the plus now, which is talking about stroke, which we still talk about. I can see it here. Also, I can see it here. So it's scattered everywhere on the. So on one object now, on one particular object or shape, you can see different icon, which is properties for that particular object. For fill now, it has its own icon. For stroke, it has its own icon, and so on. So we still talk about stroke as we continue with this in this lesson. Then um, this now will take us to what we mean by colors. I think that would be our number 3, like we have in what we have here. Okay, what we have here is our first design tag. So let's quickly go to that. Let's quickly go to that. So let me go back to that one is on page 1. What I want to show us is on page 1. So I'll go back to page 1. So this here will be our first design task. So I would like us to do this as our first design task, but I will explain. Then you can just go ahead and do that on your own also as practice. So I'll just need to bring all this one. Let me just bring all this one a little bit down. So I'm using my hand tools. Don't forget, as you are using your hand tool, be careful with the way you use it so that your work will not be hidden somewhere on your Canva. So this is what we are going to quickly design. Let me hide the other parts. So what I'm just doing, if you are using laptop without mouse, just scroll on that board on your mouse. But if you are using mouse or desktop mouse, you just scroll on that scroll wheel and hold your left button down to zoom in and zoom out. Or better still, you come to this side, you do your zoom in there, you zoom in, and so on. All right, so how do we come about all this? So the first thing to do, like what you can see here, first thing we are going to do here, I want to move as fast as possible. So the first thing we have is that circle. So you hit your O on the keyboard. So this is the circle. You give it a size of 70 by 70. Just come over here, which is the dimension 70. by 70. Then let me still make it a little bit bigger. Okay, I think it's okay like this. Now, then you create a test for that. I want the test to be below it. So I'll just create a text box for that. So I believe you still remember the difference between creating a text box and just not creating the text box. So here we have this because this will confine everything on this text box. So I can just go to um Ipson Lorem, just generate a dummy test. I've opened it down, so that's why you can see it here every time. So just copy some parts there, then go back here and paste it. So I've pasted it. So I have this. Don't forget you come outside before you can be able to edit whatsoever you want to edit. So I have this now, and I've also justified it with my um, typesetting over here. That's why you can see. Let me show you something. That's why you can see that all the last word there, they are like straight with all the starting words over here too, because it's unjustified. Here I've justified it. That means this one there. That's if I should make it left. You see that they are not like if you look at most of this textbook, you see that everything is being justified. Even sometimes when you type a document, you want to submit a letter or something, you see every side should be justified. So that is what we mean by justify here from our type setting over here. So I'll just copy this or duplicate it, then sorry I've not pasted it, just copy it. You can see a red line showing up. I will still tell us what that means. So I'll just paste this one there. So the second one, the shape should be here, which is a rectangle. So just hit R on your keyboard, the shortcut key. And this one too, this one was 70 by 70. So do the same for this also. So this one too, you also give it the dimension 70 by 70. Because when it comes to you designing, your measurements is very, very what important to make your work neat and consistency. So as we continue with this course, you know what I'm really talking about making your work to be consistent, to be to be neat when it comes to measurement. So here we have, I can give this maybe, okay, I think 16 is okay. So that is the size I'm giving to my test. So yeah, I can drag this up. So what that red line that is showing, what is really, we call it the Figma guide. It's just to make sure that everything is aligned properly. So you can see this circle here and this rectangle here, they are aligned properly. That is what we mean by that is the work of the Figma guide. So it helps us to make sure that the what we are doing are accurately aligned properly. So I can say this, I can just copy the little parts from here because I want it just to copy a little part from there just to so I can align with this one. So let me have this. So I can copy this one also, paste it, bring it down here, then increase the width to somewhere here. You can see the red line coming up again to align what I have here. You can also use this one. You can see it coming here to align. Also, the Figma guide also help to create equal spacing. For example, if I should bring this down now, you can see it's showing 46 over here. Sorry, showing 46 and also showing 46 between that text and that ellipse, that circle. So meaning that the space there that we have is 46, which is talking about padding, which is what we are still going to talk about margin and padding. So that is why I said that everything about your designing must be consistent. That's what will make your app or your website, your web design. That is what will make it to look neat, to look attractive, and to look professional. Because I can't take this one, I can't put it here. I can't put it here now. Why I'm having this space, and then maybe put this one maybe somewhere here. Your work may not be neat. I mean, like so, like that. So I can just bring this one here, which is 46, I think, which is okay. Then lastly, I'm trying to replicate what we have here, showing us how we came about this. So lastly, I can just copy this, paste it, and bring it here. So like I was saying, I can't leave this one here now. It won't make the design to be consistent, sorry. So I can't just drop it here because the spacing here should also rhyme with the spacing I should have here. So here too, I'll be having 46 over here. I just copy this, bring this one, and take it to this side. And I'm also having this. So your Figma guide is there to help you to do some starting um, to help you to make sure that your design look accurate and consistent. So I have this. So this is just like what we have over here. What we have over here. So what I've not done now is this title. So let me bring that title. Just scroll down back. Let me bring that title and put it beside this ellipse. So I need to enlarge, zoom in back again so that I can really do that. So for this now, I don't need to create any make any text box. I just hit on the Canva and just type title, since it's just a short word. So I can give the size of that title. I can just give it maybe 28. I can do maybe 28. Now you can see that the effect has not been changed because I didn't click outside. What I told us that you must always click outside to go out of that so that I can be on normal mode. Then I can go back and type instead of bringing this out and so on. You can just quickly type inside it. Just type 28 from your keyboard. So I have this. And also use your Figma guide to help you to align this. You can see it's at the middle of the shape. You can see what it's trying to show us here at the middle of the shape. So I was able to come up with this now. So which I think is still the same with what I have up here. What we have up here. So now the next thing to do on this now is to place this on what we call frame. So what I mean is that just like the normal magazine or your normal book, all the texts you read from the normal book or magazine, any book at all, you see that that text or the picture you also find on that book or the textbook magazine, you see that they are always on paper. I mean, they are always on something. You can't just be writing on the air. It's not possible. You must write on something. Either you write on a table, you write on a paper, just write on. So that place where what you have written is staying on. That is what we mean by the that's what we mean by the frame. That's what we mean by frame. Now you may be thinking that okay, instead of using frame, why can't you put all this that we have here? Why can't you just put it on a rectangle? Just make a rectangle and just place all these tests and put it on the rectangle. So it's not possible. I'll quickly show why it's not possible, but let's quickly continue. Let me create now to create that frame. To create the frame, just hit F on your keyboard, or you just come to this place and click on this frame over here. The shortcut key is F. So let me just quickly create space for that. You'll be doing a lot of zooming in and zooming out so that you can really see what you are doing. Don't forget we are trying to recopy what we have here. I'm just trying to explain to us how we come about this up here, this one. So just trying to. And also note that when I click on that frame, you see that you see what you have frame here. Let me click on it. Now I've clicked on it, but it's not showing there. Like I said, until you drag it, you placed it on the canvas before it appears there. So this is frame 2. Frame 2. So it's showing frame 2 because I have my frame 1 here before. So I have other things I've done here before. That's why it's showing them frame 2. Or at best, let me just copy everything there so that I won't get confused with that. Let me copy everything that I have here and take it back to that. Since you have what we are trying to do here, you have seen what we are trying to do. Let me just copy everything and move it to page 2 so that I can easily understand what I'm trying to explain over there. So I'll just drag this up, then paste what I have over there. Just drag it back. So I can change, it's actually frame 1, not frame 2. So because I copied it direct from that place. So this should be, okay, let me just cancel it. So you see that what should have, because I don't have any frame here. I've not done any frame here on this page. You can't see any frame here. So let me just delete it. Showing frame 2 because I copied it directly from that page 1. So let me just delete it and create new frame F. Just hit F on your keyboard. So you see that what to bring is frame 1. So as you can see, it's showing frame 1. So the symbol for that is this. So each of all these tools, they have their symbol. I can quickly use to like recognize each every one of them. So like this one, this is a symbol for frame. That is symbol for what we call frame. And that's this frame here, we can change it to another symbol, which we'll talk about later. I think it's called the auto layout. So go back we still talk about auto layout, whereby we can change this icon to another different form. So this is the frame where we want all our design to sit on. So like what we have here is like they are still sitting on the air, or let me say they are still in our brain, but we want to write them out on something. We want to jot them out or just drop them on something. So that place we are dropping them out on is what we call the frame. So like I said, you can't place them on a rectangle. So here we have it. So let me just zoom this one back again so that we can see it. So this will be the task that you just do. Very simple, a very simple one. So here we have um our first task that we are going to do. Now let me quickly explain the reason why you can't put it on rectangle. So I'll just copy one of these text here. I'll quickly do that. I'll bring this one out. So let me just put this on the rectangle. You see the reason why we can put it on the rectangle. I'll still come back to explain some few things here. So when you place this on the rectangle, now you can see what is happening. You can see that it can't stay on it. You can see that it's just behind it. This is it. Look at it here. This is what that text, this is it over here. It can't stay on it. So rectangle is on its own, and this text also is also on its own. It can't stay on it. So let me quickly go back to this frame. Now this frame now, you can see that this frame, it has covered, or let me say all this that we have here, they are sitting on the frame. If I should collapse this, you can see this small little arrow over here. You can see that. You just click on it, and you click on it, you can see that everything has collapsed. Like it swallowed everything up. So if I click on it again to expand it, you see all what we have done here. And I can be, like I said about selection, you can select from here. For example, I've selected the rectangle. You can select this text from here. You can select the title from here, and so on. I can also delete this rectangle. Now, instead of coming here, I can just delete from here also, like I've explained the other time. But you can't have that text staying on the rectangle. So that is one thing you should observe, or you should know, that we are trying to talk about over here. So this now will take us to okay, to still put more light on that. Let me make this rectangle smaller. Let me make it smaller. So let me put it here. Let me put this rectangle here. So let me differentiate it from that one that is staying up. Let me just give it a color. Let's say color. Let me change the colors, like I've been using red too much. So let me say blue. You see, our next topic now will be on color, so you understand more about color. Now, when you look at this side, you'll notice that that rectangle that was here before, that was covering this text before, although I've reduced the size, but it was covering this text before. You can see that it's not here again. It has now is now staying, is also now staying on the Figma. Or let me use the word inside. It's now also inside the Figma. So this is the rectangle here. This rectangle 5 is now also staying inside that Figma. So if I move this, I mean, it's staying inside the frame. So if I move this frame one now, move it to anywhere, it's move. You can see it's moving with that rectangle, and everything inside is moving with the frame. But unlike um having this, okay, let me take it out now. You see something now. Let me take that rectangle out back. If I should take this rectangle out back, if I should take it out from the frame, let me take it out from the frame. Like I know I told that you can rearrange, you can drag, and so I've taken it out from the frame. Now it will look as if it's still on the frame. It's not on the frame. So somebody may say, but it's still here. No, it's not there. The reason why you know that it's not there, number one reason is that if you come here, you check this place, you see that this rectangle 5 is not inside the frame, it's outside. This text also is outside of this frame. This text is not inside. Even though I bring it here, like this. Okay, if I bring it here to be inside because I'm taking it in. But if I bring it here now, as in this text now, and I take it back again, it will look as if it's also on the frame. It's not there. So this is what will happen. How do you know? You can know, like I've said, you can know using this side, or just hold your frame, just drag it. So you see that that text and that rectangle is not moving with this frame because they are not inside. This one and this is not moving with the frame because they are not inside the frame. We have taken it out from this our layer panel here. We have taken both of them out. So that is what you should notice over there. So let's now go to the second part of this lesson, which will talk about colors. So I think that is the second part of the lesson. So I believe by 8 we should just round up by 8 p.m. My time here. So we'll go to use of frame. We just talk about that now. So we'll go to color palette, which is our fifth part of this lesson. So what do you mean by the color palette? The color is just part of our designing, as we all know, to make our work look nice or beautiful. Let me just place this one here, somewhere here. So let me Sorry, the Chrome is trying to. Okay, now the color palette, the function of this color palette is that, like I said, to make our work look beautiful and look nice. So I'm going to make some shape here or some objects here so that I can be able to explain the color properly. So here we have what we call the fill color. That what we call the fill color over here. So when I click on this, you can see you can see colors here. So I can just select any color. I can this knob over here, I can just like drag it left, I mean right or left to see the particular color that I want. But note that before you choose any color, make sure that you just select, for example, now if I want yellow, where the knob is presently or where my cursor, where my mouse is presently, you can see that there is nothing like yellow at this shade of this color, nothing like yellow. So assuming I want a yellow color now, I will first bring this knob, bring it to that shade where I have color yellow, bring it to somewhere here. Then when I get there, I can now be able to select the particular shade of that yellow that I want. Is it a kind of yellow that is a kind of dark or a kind of light one? So I'll just play with this knob too over here. So this knob over here is to get the particular shade of the color that you want. If I bring this one over here, bring it to maybe pink, then I will use this one to get the particular shade of that pink that I want. So I'm holding on it, I'm clicking on it, and as I'm clicking on it, I'm trying to get the particular shade of the particular shade or the particular weight of the color that I want. You can call it weight, you can call it the particular texture, you can call it the particular variant of the color that you want, how deep or how light you want the color to look like on the object. So that is number one. Then number two, we talk about this one that you use this one first to select the particular color that you want. Then you now use this one to select the shade of that color. Is it light? Is it dark or somehow black and so on? Then why this one over here is the opacity knob. It's just for you to it's working like the opacity property. So when you hold and drag this little knob over here or circle over here, you can see we have like three, one, two, three. So you know what this and this one, what they stand for. So this one, we make use of this one to make a kind of opacity work. So you just hold and drag it to give you a kind of transparent of the color that you have selected on an object or shape. So currently now you can see that is at 100%. So you can type any transparent value directly into it. For example, if you don't want to move it, when you look at this, when you look at this object over here, you can see that the color is like fading, transparent like fading. But if you don't want to maybe move that knob, you can just quickly maybe you want 50%, you can just type 50 on your keyboard and hit on the enter key. So when you press the enter key, you can see it faded it out. And you can also see a kind of symbol for that. You can see that it was like a full blue before, but now it is now faded with 50%. So this is what you can just know that okay, this this color have been worked on, which is the opacity. That's what this symbol represents, and this is the value of that color. It's the color represent is the value. I can say it is a color representation in value of that color. We'll talk about that later when we talk about the hexadecimal and some other color value. So why this other ones here? These other ones they represent the color that you have chose or that you have worked on. So any color that you have worked on earlier, all those color will be here. Or all those color that you create as your components. We still talk about components and some other things. All those colors will be here that you can reuse those colors also. So this is what I remember by the hexadecimal. These are RGB, your CSS, your HLS. So you can they are still the same thing. Like this color now is on hexadecimal. I can get the still the same color. I can get the RG form. The RG form means red, green, and blue. So these are the value. So this value that I have here is what give me these three value here. One, two, three. So that means this one is the red, this one is the green, and this one is the blue. So what make up this color now is this red of this amount, this green of this value, and this blue of this value. Then at 50% opacity. So these are RGB. Then this is our CSS. Those people, if you are good in coding, CSS means cascading style sheets, cascading style sheets. So if you are good at coding, so this again, this color here, this what it represents 58, 56 RGBA, then the opacity is 0.5, which means this 0.5, which also still means 50%. Then the other one that we have here is our HSL. So I think it's something um, saturated illumination, something like that. I can't really something saturated illumination, or you can just search for that. So these are also the value for that. Then with this last one also. So they are all it's still they are all it means the same thing, but these are just the value representation for each and every one of them. And so that the colors still remain the same as I'm choosing them differently. The colors still remain the same. It's not changing. But this just represent the color property for each and every one of them. So let me just take it back. So that is that about this section. Now, when we come to this part now, to this section, we can do some other customization on this. I mean, talking about this part now. So this part now is like this color now is solid. It's solid. Solid means just one color. When it says solid, it means one color. So when I click on it now, when I click on this solid now, you can see that it's just only one color, while the other one is our color gradient. When I click on color gradient, it will give me my different types of color gradient pattern, which um, which can be either linear, it can be, I think it's still coming up, which can be either linear, it can be okay. So I click on this part to give me this. So it can be linear, it can be radial, it can be angular, it can be diamond. So this is the first one, linear. So in this linear just simply means you adding two colors. You can only, add two colors or still have access to more colors. So linear just means everything will be a kind of straight pattern. You can add more. It can't be only two colors. You can add more colors actually, but everything will just like be on a straight pattern. When we get to other ones, you really understand the difference between linear and other ones. So here I can change the color of this. Click on the knob. When you click on the knob, you can change the color of that. Then you can move the particular. You can just close this and move to a particular point where you want that color to be present. If you want this one to be really present, you can just move it so it will have more present than others. Then this one can change the color of this maybe to pink. Can also drag it. So you just play with each and every one of them. So to see so you can see everything that is just linear. I can't be able to bend. I can't bend this one now. Let me take it back. You can see that I can't bend this color here, as in this one. I can't maybe like bend it to be a kind of circular something. What we do that What will do that circular something for us is the um, radial color style here as a radial gradient here. So this is what I can also bring back to the linear now. I can hold this knob here, hold it and drag it. Can hold it and drag it up or down. Can move this one also up or down. But if you don't want to do that here, so I can also change the pattern of it. I can change it, move this one here. Can move this, move it over here. So just do some work on all this. So let's go to the radial gradient. So this is the radial gradient. So you can see that this one is giving us a kind of circular um, pattern. So I can just change this, move this a little bit. Let's play with only two. You can add as many as possible, but let's just play with only two. So to do that, just hit your delete on your keyboard. So I can change this one to either white or something like this so that you can actually see. So this one I can bring it in. So you can see what we have here. So you just play with it because of our time. Then the other one is the angular. So you can just check each and every one of them. The other one is the angular. Click on it. So you have this. Can change the direction of the color where you want the color to be present. Can play with that also. And the other one that we have is the diamond. Is the diamond. So these are all what you can do on this gradient. So the types are the linear, the radial, the angular, and the diamond. Why this solid just only one color pattern? It should just give you only one color pattern. Then the other one, the third one is the pattern. What I mean by that pattern for the solid means it's only one color. Only one color will be present. Just only one color. So there you have pattern. You can also see what this pattern does. So this pattern is just a kind of a template that you can add. Then here we have this one represent our image. This one represents image. So if you go back to that wireframe that we talk about, so we use this a kind of symbol for image. So here you can upload your image from the computer. Let me just upload an image from the computer here. So you click on upload from computer. So when you do that, you can just select, let me select this image now. I can just say open. So the image we can now you can see the image here. So I can change the pattern of that image. We are seeing on the image. I can change this pattern of this image now. I can say okay, fit to fit the actual size of that image. I mean of that box that I've made or prepared for that image where it will sit on. Then I can say okay, crop. Crop there means if I want to actually get a particular part of that image. So that is what we all know what crops means. Even on our phone, we normally crop across that always on some of our social media application and some other application also. So here we have ties. Can do ties, can do ties and so on. Like to make it like double, you can see it here, so on. So you can just play with that also. Then the last one is the video. So when you click on this, you can upload also a video. If you have any video on your computer, you can upload and also play with that also. So I think that is all about the. So here we talk about this as we continue. We have the primary color, the secondary color, tertiary color. So I won't go through this. I mean, I won't go into this one now. Because if I should explain, you may not really understand. So we'll talk about this as we proceed in this course. So let me quickly talk about something about that transparenting of a thing. So for example now, so let's assume that, let me delete this one, make another shape. Let me use circle for now, ellipse. So let me make another ellipse, which is the circle. I'm pressing letter O on my keyboard. So let's assume I make this one to have a blue color. Don't forget, you always come to fill to get your color. This plus, minus, and so on. I think I should just quickly explain that now. So here, let me say I have this blue color here. So instead of coming back here to click on this, the second circle, and let me go to fill again and give it color. And even I must not I might not get the same color that I have here for this. If you remember, I talked about the color shade. So if I click on this now, it may look like almost the same thing. But if you actually look, let's go to the color value now. You may see that it may not be the same. Now this one is in hexadecimal. Hexadecimal consists of letters and numbers. So this is 321CF4. If I click on this one is 2626E2. You can see that although it may not be, you may not really see different, but you can see that they are not. But as a UI person, every of your work must be in details. Everything that you do must be in details, so that the person you want to pass your job to, the programmer or the developer that will work on the coding aspect of it, may really flow with what you have given to them to work on or to handle. So here we have so what to avoid that now, what we are going to do is this. We'll make use of what we call the eyedropper. So let's assume now that I want to give the same color, except I want to give different color. So that is when I can just say, okay, let me give it another different color. If I'm using the same color, I must just miss the real value color of this out from this one. So to do that, to solve that problem, you just go to the eyedrop, click on this back again, and go to your feed. Just click on that color here, then click on this eyedrop here, or you call it sample colors. This is the same thing as eyedrop. Just click on it. So when you click on it, just just drop that. Okay, what I should have done first is this. Sorry for that. So just make sure you align this first. These words we want to is not these words we want to give the same color to. So just click on this. So when you have done that, come to your fill with color and click on your fill with color. Click on the eyedrop tool or the sample color. Then click on this color, this one here. When you click on this, the color, so this one will inherit that color. So when we go back to the color value, you see that I'm selecting this one now. You see that this one is 321, so on. Click on this one too. You see that they are the same thing. So that is what eyedropper is talking about. So we also quickly now go to what I wanted to show us before this. So let's assume that, let me just delete this one out and bring this one to the center of the Canva. So let's assume I type something now. Maybe I just type tests. Just type tests. Sorry, let me increase the size. Okay, let me give it okay, let me give it this size so that you can really guess what I'm trying to explain. So let's assume we have this. Now, if I should, like what I told you the other time, if I should bring this here, I should bring this here now. Now you can see that this text over here is staying on the circle. It's staying on that circle. But actually it's not on it, like what I explained to us the other time. So the is really at the back. So the hidden or the this one is like, okay, let me just quickly tell us this. For example, now the reason why this test is like staying on it is because this test is up and the ellipse is down. If I should bring this test, bring it down, and the ellipse is up. No, the ellipse is up now, then the test is down. You can say that the test is hiding or is behind the ellipse. So there's something at the back of this ellipse, which is the test. So to make that to make that obvious, or for us to see that test, what we need to do, if you can guess, what we need to do is that we need to reduce the color opacity of this. That means you make this one to be transparent, this ellipse to be transparent. So you just come down here, go back to your fill, click on it. Then here you can just like make it transparent a little. So as you are doing that, that text that was being hidden at the back will be coming up, so you can be able to see it. So you can be able to see that text that was hidden at the back. So that is just, I just quickly want to show you that, so that, so if I bring it back now, you will see that text appearing very well. You see, so if I take it back again, so that is just the function of that. Just want to show you, quickly show you that. So we've talked about the color pattern, which are the solid, linear, angular. And we've talked about the solid gradient, the image, and the video. So you can also apply your linear on the tests. I think I have some minutes more. You can also apply your linear on the tests. For example, now let's say I have tests. So let me make it let me give it okay, I think bold is still okay. So I can just come here now, go to my fill with color, give it a, now it's on solid, Let me change the um color to, let me change it to green for now. We have not used green. Let me change it to green. So here now I can just go to my gradients here. So what I'm trying to say is that you can apply these gradients to text. It's not only on shape, you can also apply it to text. So I can just give this one maybe another color type. So as you can see, so you can just play with this one also, and play with it, and bring this one here. Can use this knob, just drag it to change the uh, style of it. Just play with it. So that is that. You can also apply this gradient on text. I mean, you can apply colors and play with that colors on text also, not only objects. That's what that part is trying to talk about. So we talk about the image, the fill, the fits, the crop, and the types. So you can also play with colors on, stroke. So I think we are going to stop there. So you can also play with colors on stroke. So let me quickly make another ellipse here. So let's say we have this ellipse. So this ellipse now is not having any is not having any uh, stroke. It's having stroke, but it's not. Or let me just say it's not having stroke. So for you to add stroke, just click on this plus sign. Click on this plus sign. Presently, it's not having any stroke actually. So click on this plus sign. When you click on that plus sign, you can see a little like a kind of dark, kind of black color around it. So that's what we mean by stroke. So you can make that stroke to really look present because it's on the weight now is one. So you can maybe make it maybe like make it like five so that will be a little bit obvious. Or let's make it maybe like 10, like 10. It's your enter key so you can see it. So let's make it maybe like 30 because I want to show us something there. Or let me say 40. Okay. So what I want to try to show us here is that you can also apply your gradient on on this stroke also. You can see you can change this color. You can apply the radial gradients, the radial gradient on it. Like I said, you can select another points by yourself. Just click on uh, that any part here to bring out another node for you. So you can change the color of each. Change this one now to this, and change this black maybe to this purple, and change this one now maybe to yellow. Just choose any shade of that color. Now you can see that this one is really present because it's taking a larger position. You can just close it and play with that color there. So you can just play with the color over here. So that is on stroke. Then this color here. So let's assume that the main color of the body. No, this is just stroke. So let's assume that this main color is maybe it was maybe green before. Maybe it was green before, and you don't want that green. Maybe everything, even everything, because if I should remove the stroke now, you say that everything is green. If I should remove that stroke, to remove the stroke, just say hide. Just hide it. You see that everything is green. So you can just open it back. So let's assume I don't want this green color. I want it to be empty. I don't want any green color here. Just do the same thing. Hide the visibility so to hide it. So there's nothing there. So you only have the stroke appearing here. So so I think that will take us to the end of this class. So I don't have much time to quickly explain the margin and padding. Or let me just take, because we still have a lot to do, let me just take some few minutes to explain margin and padding. So I'll make sure I quickly do that because it's very important. Now, margin and padding. What do you mean by margin and padding? So margin and padding, both of them are actually talking about space. But how can we identify the difference between both of them? Margin. So the spelling for that is this is margin and this is padding. So padding, I'll start from margin. So margin is we have four different position of margin and padding. You have the margin top, just like the corner radius. You have the margin right, the margin left, and the margin bottom. So I'll use this shape to quickly talk about that. So let me just copy and paste this shape. So let me move very fast. So I'm going to give this one, let me give this one the actual color. So let's say this is red again. So here, now you can see the space between this shape here and this box here and this box here. So the space between this box and this box is what we mean by margin. This space is what we mean by margin. So that means this shape here, this first shape here, which is the rectangle 5, is having a space, is having a right margin to this space, as in a right margin to this space. Why if I should, okay, let me make this one blue so that you can just quickly identify the two of them by their colors. Now, why this blue? This blue is having a left margin. They are both sharing the same boundary, the same space. But this one, when you want to refer this one to this one, now you say this one is having a right margin to this blue. When you want to refer this one back to this one, you say this one is having a left margin to this. So this is right margin and this is left margin. Now let's go to the top. What about if we have, let's assume we have another shape here of equal space. Sometimes your margin, you may not set your margin to be of equal space, depending on what your design entails. Let me copy and paste another one there. Copy, paste another one here. So let me just quickly give them different colors so that you can be able to identify the margin property very well. Maybe this one. Okay, I think it's okay like this. Okay, we have one more. Um, let's say pink. I mean purple. Yeah, pink or purple. Okay, so here we have this. So we'll be able to to know what this one means. That this box here is a margin. This box here is a margin right to this blue box here. And why this blue box staying at the center is a margin left to this red. So this same blue, let me just use this blue to explain everything. Now this same blue is a margin top to this one over here. Margin, you call it margin top to this one over here. That is the space. Why this one here, the pink, is always going to vector mode. Why this one here is a margin bottom to this one over here. So what I mean by that is that this is margin top, this one is space margin top, this one is space margin right. You know that this one was margin right to this before. So this middle one, I'm using this middle one to talk about everything now. This middle one. So this is margin top, this is margin right is space, while this is margin bottom to this one here, while this one is margin left. So you have the top, the right, the bottom, and the left. So the flow of it, like clockwise, is top, right, bottom, and left. So when you consider this one only have margin to this. It doesn't have, because there is nothing below it. So you only have margin. It's only sharing space to this, which is margin right to this one. Why this one also here is only sharing space to this, which is margin bottom. This one here is only sharing space to this, which is margin left. Why this one is only sharing space to this, which is margin top. But this middle one explained everything to us properly. That this is margin top, this is margin right. I mean, I'm talking about the space. This is margin bottom, and this is margin left. So that's all about margin. It's very simple to understand. So why the uh, padding? Let's quickly go to padding. So the padding is also very easy to understand. Now you can see that each of them, this box here represents different part of the of our design. But let's assume that uh, we have we have a particular uh, box, we have a particular design, and in that design we now have different design again in it. As in this is the main one. We call it container. So in this container, we now have other things inside. Why this one? They are like each container. So the space between each container, margin top, margin wide, but this one is like a container on its own, having some other uh, objects in it. So we refer that now to padding. So if the object is in a container, we refer it to padding. But if they are outside, we refer them to margin. So let me just quickly explain that. So I'm trying to make it faster now. So let me just make another shape on this. So, so I'll just quickly uh, just want us to understand this very well. Sorry for taking time. So this is this. Let me just copy it. Okay, let me quickly make it. Let me increase the width so that we can see it very well. That is too much. So copy, paste. Copy, paste. For example, now like this one, I can just use my degree property, which is the angle. The rotation property is on 180. You can say, okay, let me make it. I think that should be 180 plus 180. So I've done it like that. So I can bring this one to down. So this is like this large blue one is the container. Why this one over here is the object in this container. So the object in this container is sharing bound. This object now is sharing boundary still within the container. So we call it the padding top, not margin. Now it's not margin because it's sharing the it's like this is the parent and this is the child. So it's not maybe it's different. It's not maybe it's different. These are different parents here, different parents here, different parents here, having spaces. But this is the parent, this is the child. So this object here is inside the container. So the padding space. So what we refer here now, we call it padding and not margin. So the space here, we also call it the padding top. This is the padding right, and this is the padding bottom, and this is the padding left. So if you have more uh, question on that, or you are still confused about this, you can just comment in the just give me a comment in the comment box. Let me know what you feel about this particular one, because margin and padding sometimes not too easy for someone to quickly understand. But I think I've done my best to really explain the margin and padding section. So this will take us to the end of this class. So in our next class, we continue and we'll start moving very fast so that we can quickly cover up with everything that we need to know in this course. And also this week, so our next class will be Saturday this week and Sunday. So thank you very much. So I hope we've learned new thing in this second lesson. So I'll see you guys in our third lesson, in our next lesson. So have a wonderful time, have a wonderful night rest. So we see you in the next lesson. Thank you so much.